What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. This is a sports talk Sunday. I got my guys in here. I got E-Man in here. Then I got my guy Clayton, and I got my guy Tuck in here. And first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put that the GOAT debate to rest, right? As far as like Jordan and James, right? Because I was thinking. Now, lately, a lot of people have been coming out on Jordan's behalf, right? And all those guys who came out on Jordan's behalf are the guys who played in the 90s, the guys who played with him, right? So you had Stephon Marbury, Sam Cassell, who else? Mario Elie just says, he just said that Jordan was the greatest. But I was thinking, Jordan, he don't partake in that, right? So I was thinking that maybe we should just leave that to people who played in that era, or people who played with, you know what I mean, who played with LeBron, or who seen LeBron up close and seen Mike up close, right?
Well, we can't do that, though. We can't do that. Because the one simple fact is, none of us saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his prime when he was the GOAT.
And that's my point.
None of us saw Wilt Chamberlain in his prime when he was the GOAT.
That's my point.
Nobody saw Bill Russell when he was the GOAT.
That's my point.
You know what I'm saying?
So, and the reason why I'm saying that is because Michael Jordan even said that. He played the game. And he said he cannot declare himself the greatest if he never played against Russell, Chamberlain, or Kareem. So he said he couldn't do that. And that's why I said, well, maybe, maybe that, like the average person, people who like myself who never even played, basketball at that level, maybe, I can say Jordan is my favorite player, but you know what I mean? But like, as far as like saying that he's the GOAT, like the greatest of all time, when I didn't have the opportunity to, a lot of the, some of the people that they mentioned in that GOAT conversation, or some of the people who should be in that GOAT conversation is, I never even had a chance to see.
But see, you can still have a greatest. It may not. It's subjective. That don't mean who you stamping is the greatest. It's just the greatest that you've ever seen.
Well, yeah. But I mean, in my opinion, like I said, you could say all right, Michael Jordan is my favorite basketball player, right? The one, But then, all right, because when I listen to like ESPN or all those networks. They don't seem to be objective. Like their opinions are like they like have like a motive behind them, right? But when you ask guys, like if you ask Mario Elie, or you ask, like Mario Elie, he don't care about either one. All he just telling you is his experience with Mike, or watching basketball at that level. Or if you listen to Sam Cassell is the same way. Like he don't really have a dog in the fight. You know what I mean? But he just telling you about his experience at that level and knowing, what it take to be, like the greatest or one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Well, see, let me expand on that, because sometimes people don't understand that term "greatest of all time." You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, the only way you can prove greatest of all time is stats. Stats is the only way that you can prove a great individual. That's why all leagues keep stats. Okay. And if you look at Michael Jordan's accomplishments, he doesn't lead in any of the stats.
Who, Mike don't?
Mike don't. No.
Yeah, he do.
What? What do you lead in? What do you lead in, Clay? What do you lead in?
Mike got the ring.
What do you lead in, Clay?
I'm getting ready to say he lead in scoring average.
No, he's tied in scoring average.
Right, he doesn't lead in scoring average.
Him and Wilt.
I don't think they are. I think Mike leads in scoring average.
There you go. The all-time lead again. When you can just look it up.
I'm pretty sure I can't.
Stuff when you can
I can't because my phone. I'm using my phone and it's away from me. But I will say this: Michael Jordan. I believe Michael Jordan is the all-time leader in points per game average.
Right, but if you look at that, listen, if you look at that stat though, if I average If I average 30 points, but I'm only averaging that 30 points for 4 years, then I will be leading the stat average.
No, he's career. I said career.
Right,
His
right,
career average is 30 a game.
Right, but you're not saying what I'm saying though. If LeBron plays 20 years, okay, and his stat average is 27 for 20 years, and Jordan plays 12 years, and his stat average is 30 for 12 years, who has the bigger accomplishment in stat average?
Well, I was just saying the category leads in. Now,
Right,
as far as how you want to dissect it and what it means to you, that's subjective.
So
right,
so
but
look, man,
yeah,
you saying that? All right, so you're saying that because LeBron played longer, that his stats mean more than what Mike did, though?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, people.
The longevity first of all, your longevity atones to everything that you do in sports. The longer you play, the more your stats build up. So if your stats become greater within those 20s, then that make you a greater player. So if I was great for only 4 years, listen, if I was great for only 4 years, but I was great for 19 years and average for 2 more years, who do you think has a better career?
Yeah, I think they try to use LeBron longevity against him. I think that's a little disingenuous. Why? Because he's able to play at a certain level longer. You use that to knock him. I don't really get that. I don't really get
that. And that's what changes my decision between the GOAT or between a conversation with LeBron and Michael. Okay, Michael had a great year. LeBron longevity to me and what he's doing now in year 20, what he did in year 19. It's showing me that LeBron overall is maybe the GOAT conversation of being the GOAT. And that's just because I witnessed both of them play. Now, Jordan was definitely a great player. No doubt.
You can't take that away from him.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, you can't take that away from Mike. He one of the greatest to ever play the game. Ain't no question about that. You can't take that from him. You know what I'm saying? But I never looked at Mike and saying and that's a good point, saying stats. Well, you know, Clayton, what we say if he does lead in stats, so he leads in scoring, but it's more to the game than just scoring. And
I don't disagree with that.
Then if you add other factors into it, a lot of Jordan fans, they present it like, you know, the 6 for 6, like Jordan only played 6 years. Yeah, I mean, Jordan played 15 years, even though they don't want to count the Wizards years and things like that. He only played, he played 15 seasons. Out of them 15 seasons, he won 6 times. You know what I'm saying? So do the math on that. So he lost more years that he played than he won.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if
I don't consider all those things though, like the average fan does.
Man, Clayton was talking one time. We was in the studio, and he was saying, because I'm big on Will. I'm really big on the bigs, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on Will. I'm big on Kareem and things like that. And Clayton said something to me before, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. That you think that Will came up small, in them championships against Boston, and the context to that, you can say that, but there's context to that as well, which he didn't get it done. But if you look at who he was playing against, and he getting double and triple team the whole time, and still averaging 20-20, some instances 30-20 against supposedly the best defensive player ever, and the Boston teams were stacked 7-8 Hall of Famers at one point. You know, you can argue both sides. Now,
me asking you that question wasn't based on them winning. It was based on his performance going up against Wilt. But now you're telling me
Bill Russell. Yeah.
I mean, against Bill, right. Now you're telling me that it wasn't one-on-one. He was getting double and triple team.
Well,
see, that wasn't my understanding.
No. You're right. That was the point you was making. I remember that.
Right.
But if you look at his stats against Wilt, against Russell,
against Bill,
he was still averaging like 30 and 20 against Russell in them finals.
Okay.
Yeah, he was still doing his part.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know that because that is a narrative out there about him that as big as he was and how dominant, sometimes he shrank when it came up against Bill Russell, right? But I want to bring you back to something you said, scoring, right? It's more to the game than scoring, right? And I'm gonna go back to what Man said. Man said at one point Kareem was considered the greatest of all time, right? Now LeBron is put in this category because of everything he does, the assists and all these things. What was Kareem doing in terms of filling up the whole stat sheet?
Well, Kareem was leading the league in rebound and leading the league
and scoring. You gotta remember Kareem
leading the league in block.
Right. But I'm just saying he was considered the greatest, but he wasn't triple doubling and all that kind of stuff. How they trying to and playing all 5 positions like they try to put LeBron in that category because of all that he could do. Kareem wasn't doing that, and now saying it's more to scoring as if to suggest that that's all Michael did, and that's not what all Michael did. So I'm just trying to figure it out, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, but I'm not saying all that Michael what they did on the court itself, because let's remember Kareem led the league in scoring. He was the all-time scoring leader before LeBron took it. Right. So you know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is Michael Jordan doesn't lead he's not the all-time assist leader. He's not the all-time rebounder. You know what I'm saying is we consider Michael Jordan the GOAT because of what we originally saw. But the only way that you can realistically call somebody the greatest of all time is use the stat sheets to qualify your conclusions to that.
And
Jordan doesn't lose.
I disagree with that though, but I understand your point. I understand your point though.
Because
but
hold up, man, hold up. Because I think like that's where I think that LeBron James, his longevity, that's where I think that works against him. Because LeBron James played he going into his 21st season, right?
Right.
And it's taking him all of this time to number one to catch Mike. I mean, to beat. He not even catching Mike when it comes to rings and stuff like that.
But hold on. But let's not qualify that, because then Mike's is never going to catch your boy from
from Boston,
Bill Russell, right?
From Boston,
right. Mike, he's never going to do that. So it's not
rings for me.
Right, it's the quality of work. It's the whole work in general. Let's be real. LeBron has went to more championship finals than Jordan went to.
And he lost more than Kobe. He lost more than Mike.
But he went to more. He's been there more. You know what I'm saying? So theoretically, Jordan has only went to 6 championships, correct?
Yeah.
LeBron has gone to what? 10.
He went to 10.
Okay.
A lot.
So let me ask you a question. When you sit down and you qualify stats, Jordan's went to 6, LeBron has went to 10.
So what's the winning percentage on that? What's the winning percentage?
But we're talking about our individual. Yes, Michael Jordan has won 6. He went to 6 and won 6.
Right.
But LeBron has went to more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I'm doing visually as an average fan, I'm like, well, shit, that's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady has not won every one he went to.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: who was a better quarterback, Joe Montana, or the guy, or what's the guy that lost the 4 Super Bowls in
Jim
Kelly?
Who was a better quarterback then?
Well, what's the comment is a better quarterback? Montana.
Yeah, right. but not because of the 4 rings though.
Right.
Montana was clearly a better quarterback than me.
Right.
Why is it that?
Why was he better?
Yeah, if it wasn't because he won, why was he better?
I mean, to me, I think it's because he had success. He had success at what he was doing. Those 4 rings to me matter. That's why I'm not going to compare Jim Kelly to Tom Brady, right? But Jim Kelly and Joe Montana both went to 4 Super Bowls, right?
Well,
and so one is 4 for 4 and one is 0 for 4. So that means something. That's why people do not bring up Jim Kelly when you talking, and Jim Kelly was a great quarterback.
Yeah, he in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Right,
he's Hall of Fame.
but
I say Montana better because you look at turnovers, interceptions,
Exactly.
decision. It's all these things. It's not just because he won 4 rings. Because the
Right.
San Francisco 49ers with Bill Walsh was a machine. That's why you can plug Steve Young in and still win titles.
So that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point you're making, Clayton. So
Yeah.
is it the player making the system, or is it the system that's making the player?
Well, the great ones are beyond system. And for me, I feel like I can see that. And that's what make a player great. And then players that have good careers, the system can produce that for them.
And that's my point. Regardless of what we think about LeBron and what LeBron has accomplished in his career, every team LeBron went to, he's the one the championship with.
I'll be right back, y'all.
Every single team.
Yeah,
Every single team he's gone to, he's won a championship. Jordan cannot say that.
Yeah, because Jordan built in one city.
That's the point I'm trying to say. If we're structuring great players or great systems, Jordan was in a great system that made him a great player.
No doubt about it.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
I think
Before the triangle, Mike was eating. Before the triangle, Mike was eating the league up.
I think he
But
was
Mike,
a great player.
hold on, let me ask you a question. What did Mike?
The triangle brought championships, but Mike was killing the league.
What did Mike accomplish before the triangle? Absolutely
Scoring titles,
nothing.
defensive player of the year, scoring titles,
No. Michael Jordan
was winning scoring titles under Doug Collins.
Listen,
What are y'all talking about, man?
Listen. I'm not talking about winning
Anyone
scoring
defensive
titles.
player of the year under Doug Collins.
I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking
You
about
said
the
what
same
did he accomplish?
Right. The same thing that y'all want to talk about Michael Jordan being a champion, okay, is to solidify who Michael Jordan is. We got to go to the other side. We got to go to the other side because before Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan couldn't win a playoff game. I mean, couldn't win a playoff series.
You can say the same thing about LeBron. That's LeBron's reason.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that because LeBron has won with every single team he went to. He's won a championship.
Let me respond to that. He won because he only going to teams where he know he can receive the help that he needs to get him to that next level.
Oh, I'm sorry, Scottie Pippen doesn't mean nothing to Jordan.
What?
Scottie Pippen ain't mean nothing to Jordan.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, he did.
That's right. So you can't talk about who he played with. You can only talk about where he played at.
No,
that's the only thing you can talk about.
Scottie Pippen meant something to Chicago winning titles. You keep dragging my conversation into the narrative that everybody has, that these titles is making Mike the greatest. That's not for me. Scottie Pippen means something to the Bulls organization winning. Mike was Mike. And Mike was doing what he was doing and would do what he do in any system.
Mike could not win a playoff thing without Scottie Pippen. Let's be real.
The team.
Mike was on the team. Mike was there.
But it's a team thing.
That's what we're trying to say. That's exactly.
So look, Clayton, why do you separate Mike not winning from the team? But you know when they do win, you don't keep that separation. You say Mike won 6 titles.
I don't say that. Y'all keep saying that's what I'm saying. That's the narrative. That's not mine. I think when we go back some shows, I said coming out of college, when I first seen him, I said the same opinion Bobby Knight shared. The greatest thing I ever seen in my life. Had nothing to do with winning. So I don't, that's not my thing. But I know that's the narrative. You know what I mean? But that's not my thing.
Don't you believe your argument is stronger because Mike won?
No.
So if Mike hadn't won, you would.
I don't know because I don't care to argue it. I just know what it is for me.
No.
I know that all my life I could see a guy hoop and say how good he was. It had nothing. If he's on a bad team, he's on a bad team. But that don't mean he ain't great.
No. That don't mean he can't play anything. But I'm just saying.
Right.
You want to say,
but go ahead. I'm sorry.
The greatest.
Go ahead.
do you want to say somebody the greatest ever? Him winning helps solidify that argument, that position.
Yeah,
For a lot of people, it does.
I mean, but let's bring football back into the stats. My man Dan Marino is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks that's ever played the game.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
But nobody even talks about him being the top 5 quarterback because he never won anything.
Right.
All right, let me ask you a question, man. Does other people give you your opinion about what someone is?
No, other people don't.
All right, then. So guess what? For me, Dan Marino is in my top 5. So
but let me tell you though, but when somebody's trying to argue the fact of the GOAT with me, I cannot argue for Dan Marino. Why? Because the stats prove, and that's what I'm trying to say all along, the stats prove that he is not. And that's the only thing. See, that's what I was trying to say.
Let me ask you this question, and I'm gonna digress after that. Let me ask you this question: what if Dan Marino dropped back to pass and put the ball on the money every single pass, and dudes drop it, and he don't have the stats, but his pass is incredibly accurate, and his skill set is beyond measure?
Let me ask you a question.
What happens then?
And let me ask you a question.
He's not great anymore?
No, he's not. Because let me ask you a question. If they drop the ball, then that doesn't go towards his stats.
Right. His completion percentage is 0.
Right. If they drop the ball.
But I'm saying, bro, that's what I mean. His completion percentage be 0, but his throw is phenomenal.
It don't matter. Your throw can be. It don't mean nothing.
It means something to me. It means something to me. You know what it means to me? Let me get this guy somebody that can catch. It means something to me.
But let me ask you a question.
You know what else it means? You know what else it means? I can design all kinds of plays because of the windows this guy can put it in. So now it opens my imagination up as an offensive coordinator.
But
what's up,
But do you put that stat into your GOAT conversation?
I'm not considering stats in my GOAT conversation.
But I'm saying, do you even put that aspect into your GOAT conversation? Well, he's pinpointing the pass, but somebody keeps dropping it.
That's what it's based on, his skill set and his ability to play. Yes.
Yeah. Because if that was the case, there's a lot of NBA players.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers do get that benefit for him, his passing ability. Because how many Super Bowl? Aaron Rodgers only got 1 Super Bowl, but
he got the one.
They treat him like he won multiple Super Bowls, and they talk about his passing ability, like he's the greatest passer. But that's why I said it's a combination of winning and your own the talent that you bring to the table. So, but let me respond. Let me ask y'all how y'all feel about this statement that Time made. Right? He said, "Wow." He said, "Wow, OGs, y'all double talk." And Jim Kelly is better because he played in cold weather. Jim Kelly was tougher. And y'all bringing up Joe Montana stats in the Super Bowls, in the Super Bowl, just like y'all bringing up Michael Jordan. I don't know, if weather probably do play a small part of life, but I just think
listen to I play football in college, okay? It doesn't matter. Listen, if it's 0 degrees outside or if it's 100 degrees outside, okay, you're a quarterback. Thurman Thomas was not a bum. And the reason he wasn't a bum because in cold weather, you hand it off to him 30 times a game.
Right.
Okay. So I don't care where you playing at. Right. All right. That has nothing to do with your stats of being great. Because every quarterback plays in cold weather. Every quarterback plays in a dome. You got to perform. Yeah. The scheme and the game plan comes with football, basketball, baseball. So if I'm playing in 0 degrees, guess who's getting the ball? My fullback, my halfback, my tight ends. I'm not going deep because it's cold. Yeah. So I respect your view on that aspect of it, but let's go to stats. Kelly was a good quarterback. Okay, he was. But as far as passing, he's not one of the top 5. Just it. As far as, completion percentage, not part of the top 5. That's just it. That's reality. Yeah. He went to 4 Super Bowls and lost 4 Super Bowls. Now, some can say he lost two of those Super Bowls to really good teams. You know what I'm saying? And the 1 Super Bowl that he lost the first time, if they make the field goal, maybe we're talking a different story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's you gotta take the good with the bad, the stats with the stats. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
So what
You
that
know?
mean? What that mean? Tell me what you mean when you do that. What that mean?
Championships is a team thing. You can't put that on a player, and you can't take away from a player or add to a player per winning a championship.
But that's exactly my point. LeBron James, regardless of who he's playing with, every team he went to, he succeeded.
But LeBron gets knocked for losing 6 out of 10 finals, though.
But you
Right.
And
gotta
that's
listen.
and Tom, that's unfortunate, and that shows you how narrow-minded sometimes people can be because they let the narratives condition their mind and make them view a person in a certain light instead of thinking for themselves.
Exactly.
I can't deny LeBron James' greatness. He's a great player. I don't give a shit if he don't win no titles. What he do on the court, he's a great player.
Listen,
You understand what I'm saying?
and you absolutely right, because all you got to do is ask the guy that no one talks about when it comes to rings, Robert Ory. All right, ask that man when it's not all about, it's just getting there. Because at the end of the day, it's only one champion. At the end of the day, when you get there and compete for it, that's good enough.
So what you think about Robert Ory? What did you say about Robert Ory?
Robert Ory has more championships than Jordan does.
I know, but what are you saying about it?
I'm saying that he is happy to be in the championship game.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we don't talk about Robert Ory and his accomplishments, but he has more rings than Jordan.
right,
He's been there more than Jordan.
right. And
You
why
know what I'm
don't
saying?
we?
And why don't we? Because the simple fact is we take visual accomplishments that we perceive in our minds as greatness instead of doing what we need to do is take facts, which are stats.
No.
And if you
Talk to me, Mike.
If you're looking at Robert Ory and then you're looking at Michael Jordan, they're not even in the same class. So
but hold up. And that's my point. Mike, that's my point.
If you take Charles Barkley, you'll have a stronger argument.
Mike, that's my point.
Right? Huh?
That's my point. That's why I brought up Robert Ory, because we want to talk about Jordan and his 6 championships. Okay?
Right.
That's what everybody wants to put Jordan because Jordan's great because he won 6 championships. Okay? But I'm trying to say just because you win 6 championships does not put you in that GOAT conversation. Because Robert Ory's won 7. You guys, so that championship right there is out the question. Jordan doesn't commit. Jordan is not the leading scorer in NBA all time. Doesn't have the most championships. Doesn't have the most assists. Doesn't have the most rebounds. I question. He said, "I'm gonna give him. Let's give him the largest scoring. The best scoring average of all time. All right, let's give him that. I don't know for sure, but let's give him that. But stats command what I would call respect.
I think stats is a part of.
Stats is
part of it, but then you got to have the eye test too, though, man.
What is the eye test? That's my question. What is the eye test?
Their performance on the court. All right, so like I said, none of us play at that level, right? But we do know, we can recognize when Mike is dominant at the offensive end and at the defensive end.
So
recognize that, right?
You're right. So let me ask you a question, and this is where I'm trying to get to. Who is a better shooter, Larry Bird in his time or Steph Curry in this time?
Damn, that's a good question.
I think, in my point, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Steph. I think Steph is the best, and I'm gonna tell you why I think Steph is a better shooter. Steph can come off. He could come off a pick or the high pick and roll or whatever, and then he the kind of shooter he could shoot a spot up, and then but if you charging at him, he could sidestep and shoot. Like some of the stuff that Steph do, Larry Bird wasn't doing that. You know what I mean?
But,
well, let me ask y'all a question. How you define best shooter? 3-point shooter or shooter?
No, I define clutch shooting, and as a clutch shooter, I put Bird in front of him.
Oh yeah, well, clutch.
My man. Also, you talk about mid-range, creating mid-range game and stuff. I don't know if Steph's a better mid-range shooter than Bird.
He's not.
Hold up.
Not even close.
And let's not talk about the elephant in the room. When Larry Bird was playing, you could foul the shit out of his ass taking a shot.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
defense was a
still
whole
converted.
lot tougher.
Yeah, that's true. It's more physical. It's a lot more
Right.
physical.
Now,
Yep.
if you step on Steph Curry's toe, he's going to the line.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's why
But
people don't
Curry
even
is
jump
a
out
bad
to him.
boy, though.
Yeah,
But
no,
Curry
yeah,
is a bad boy. I lost my
Yeah.
mind in that Olympic final game. I lost my mind watching that kid.
right.
I'm
That's
sorry.
what.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's no doubt that he's bad, but it's no doubt Larry Bird was bad at his time too.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
I mean,
Bird
you
was
can't.
shit. No.
I think 3-point shooting, I give it to Steph, but like all around shooting, like Larry Bird did have a mid-range game. Larry Bird could go all the way to the cup too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
my thing is, go ahead, man.
I'm gonna say, but that's what I'm talking about. The eye test. The eye test is always going to be opinionated on what we saw and what we believe the situation is.
And
Okay,
see, that's why,
perfect. So that's why I
believe.
think they need to change the conversation of what the GOAT is.
See, but I look at that's why it's so hard to compare eras. It's hard
Exactly.
to compare Wilt in his era, Bill in his era, Kareem in his era,
Right.
Big O. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard. Jordan in his era to LeBron now. It's just so many great players, and they all had a time where they was dominant. They was the most dominant player at that given time, and
Well,
it's hard to compare across eras.
I agree with you though. I agree with that, right, Tom? Well, let me ask you this though. So, who do you think is like more qualified to make those that GOAT conversation, right? Is it people like Steph Marbury? Is it people like Mario Elie? People like Sam Cassell? Or is it people like who work at the networks like Stephen A. Smith?
It's definitely the place. It's
I agree.
The place.
I agree.
Because they competed against them at the time. Because if you ask somebody like a Dr. J, he always say Kareem was the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's Dr. J. He always say Kareem's, and if you and Dr. J list his starting five one time, and he had Jerry West on there, he had Big O on there, he had Kareem on there, and people was killing it. He said, "Well, you got to understand, these the guys I looked up to when I came in, when I was young. These the guys I looked up to." You know what I'm saying? So people like, well, how can you not have LeBron, or how can you not have Jordan? Well, they came behind Doc. You know what I'm saying? He was looking forward to Kareem, Big O, Jerry West, and them guys. So you know, and then that's his five. I mean, he can have what he want.
But
you know what I'm saying?
The thing about players too, right? Yeah, they're more qualified, but I think the most qualified will be people that competed against or competed when two different eras kind of came together. So Doc might be one of those guys, but my thing is, even with that, you still have a bias because Doc, listening to him talk, and I love Doc, he has a bias because he feels like the ABA stuff is being excluded from NBA and basketball lore, you know, in terms of accomplishment and stuff. Yeah. So I'm already gonna have some level of bias. So,
but
you know, he's human. They human.
Yeah, they human. ABA though.
So I understand. I'm just saying. I was just using the ABA as saying he's got somewhat of a chip on his shoulder anyway about stuff that comes after them anyway. Just using that as an example.
As he should,
you know.
Yes. Yeah. So let me ask you this question because that is a great point. And my conversation would be this, and if anybody can help me with this, please do. The only person to me that can qualify the GOAT between Jordan and LeBron, unfortunately, isn't with us anymore, and that would be Kobe.
Kobe is the only. He already he solidified it before he passed. Then, if you want to go to Kobe, Kobe was on record.
And that's where I would take it from what we're talking about. That a player is the only one that can legitimately say who the GOAT would be, and I would take Kobe's opinion at a higher stake than I would take anybody else's opinion because he's the only one that played it with Jordan in his prime and LeBron coming into his prime. Right. You know what I'm saying? He played against both of them. Right. So I would take Kobe's opinion over a lot.
I think Kobe's stance on that is solidified though.
Yeah.
I've never. So who did Kobe say? Because I've never seen a conversation with Kobe talking about both of them in their prime who he think was better.
Well, I'm gonna let somebody else answer that.
I don't know who Kobe said, so please somebody answer that.
He said Mike on several occasions.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
So
did.
yeah,
He said
so
Mike on several
He did.
occasions.
He did.
So
That's why I said like when I mean like and like you said, like all the most of the ball players from the 90s always say it's Mike. Now the younger ball players, those guys are saying that it's LeBron, right? And you know, so
and that don't mean that wrong.
Well,
that don't mean that wrong.
Right. See, that's why I love this title, Mike, and I love what you're saying. Let's put an end to it because I love the fact that the conversation should change. Instead of the greatest of all time, just people have their own subjective opinion. The greatest that I've seen, or the greatest to me, that becomes the conversation. But I love this title. Yeah,
that's absolutely right.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna put my side of it to rest. In my opinion, the greatest of all time right now is LeBron James.
Okay,
that's it. And I'm gonna say that because that's my opinion. And I started my phrase, my opinion.
Right.
So that's the way I'm gonna end it. My opinion.
Mike, I'm gonna go back, Mike, to you said players, right? In the eras and stuff. Well, the 80s, the early 80s, right?
Yeah.
Magic and Bird and them had to go against some of the elder statesmen from another era, right? So they played on the court with them. Then they played in their era. Then they met up with Michael Jordan coming into the league and stuff like that. So they played with some of that, right? And even Bird and Magic had to confess, you know, in their opinion, that Mike was the greatest. And they kind of merged eras in a sense. They was a bridge between eras.
Yeah, they was.
You know?
Yeah. But I mean, so, but look, that's not to say that, like I said, that's not to say that LeBron is not a beast, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, he's a beast.
Yeah, but I just, you know, like I'm going to confer to like people who had the opportunity to play or see both of those guys, and then they played at that level. You know what I mean? So, and it's just a lot of people. I mean, it depends on what era you ask anyway, what response you're going to get.
Right, because you ask those that saw Jordan at the back end of his career, they'll tell you LeBron all day, every day.
Right.
But if you watch those dudes that saw Jordan come up from the NCAA championship all the way to what he accomplished, they'll tell you Jordan all day.
And like you say, you gotta remember, you know, Mike, when he was done with Chicago, that last championship was 98. 98. You talking about, you know what I'm saying, almost 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It was 98, man. So, you know what I'm saying? These guys, LeBron came in 03. So, you know, if you go from the 2000 season forward, it's going to be LeBron to the majority of the people. It's going to be LeBron. Because they didn't really see Mike. They was kids or wasn't even born in some instances. So they're going to say LeBron. It's all about who you see. Well, now let's see a guy that's, like you say, then saw Kareem in the 70s, or even going back to Wilt in the 60s, and you know what I'm saying,
and Chamberlain,
Bird in the 80s, and Mike in the 90s. You know, coming all the way forward, then you might have a different opinion. And the players that you saw under the rules, don't forget that, under the rules that existed at the time. You know what I'm saying? So,
my stepfather is one. My stepfather won't let Wilt go, and he watched Wilt and Kareem and the Jordan. He still watched to this day. So he won't let Wilt go.
Man, I got an uncle, man. He say Big O.
Yeah,
he say Big O. Yeah, and he
Oscar Robertson. Oscar.
I just think like as basketball fans though, it's good to listen to or good to hear those conversations from the guys who actually played with those, you know what I mean? So I just appreciate those kind of conversations, you know, when you get a chance to talk to people or hear people that played in the league and like what it was really like to play against somebody like a LeBron or play against somebody like a Mike or Oscar Robertson or you know what I mean? Or you know, that you know, so that's why I just
they have more creeds. And also they looking at the game, not even necessarily just the competition. They looking at the science of the game. On that level, it's so much nuance to the game.
Right.
And a lot of what's determining how great you are is the angles you take, you know, the fundamental things, the science behind it, the game within the game, and all that kind of stuff.
A lot of things that we don't appreciate.
Right.
Yeah.
And Clayton, to that point, I think it's less cerebral now and there's more athleticism than it was back in the day, because you ain't have them. You had athletes, but not like they are now. You know what I'm saying? So I think the thinking man game, being smart, every possession counted. You know what I'm saying? Figuring out a mode of attack and things like that. I think there's a lot of thinking ball players back then, especially, you know, like the 70s and the 80s. Like,
yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. So look, y'all. Speaking of GOATs, right? We continue this GOAT conversation, and we're gonna talk about Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady is a GOAT for another reason, right? So his wife divorced him, and she tried to come back and take half of his properties, and come to find out Tom Brady had all his properties in his mother's name, so he don't own anything. So she don't get nothing.
Mike, I think that's, I read that, but I think that's the story from the soccer player. I think they just
I heard the story. I heard the soccer player story too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I just think they just inserting Tom Brady and his wife into that story. I don't think that really what happened. But I could be wrong though. I just think they took that story and then changed the characters of it. You know what I mean, if you will.
You think? Did you hear about that, man?
Yeah. I heard about it. And actually, if you look at it, Tom Brady had an interview when he won his first Super Bowl.
Right.
And they was talking about his finances and everything. And that is true. Tom Brady, a lot of his finances is going through his mother's shell company. Okay. And the reason that is because Tom Brady's mother is smarter than the average person. She understands, and she understood that her son was going to be who he is. And the only way that you can protect assets like that, because you really look at it, you get a wife, she leaves you, you have nothing when it comes to a man. How do you protect that? And there's a lot of NFL players that does that we don't know about, because it's a thing to do when it comes to these women and try to gold dig against these athletes. Because let's look at the fact that your boy from Chicago, let's look what he tried to do to hide his finances. Caleb Williams, he tried to tell the Bears to put his finances in his LLC. Why do you do that? It's one, he did it to get away from the taxes part of it, and two, he did that to protect him so he doesn't own anything. His LLC does. So if he gets involved in anything, he has no money.
Well, tell me this: how would that affect Tom Brady over the years, his taxes, if nothing is in his name? Is he,
because it protects
he's not
him.
having no income reported at all?
No, that's not what it is. It's not the income that's being reported; it's his assets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when he goes and buy a mansion, he doesn't put the mansion in his name.
Gotcha.
He puts the mansion even in an LLC name or his mother's name. So therefore, if somebody goes after him, like his wife, his assets, he doesn't own it.
But do you think Giselle already has some type of alimony per his income?
No, because let's remember, Giselle at one time was making more than Tom was.
Making more, that's what the report was. Yeah.
Right. She was making more than he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now the fact that she's going after him for alimony, it's only pushing the factor that she is not relevant as she was when they first got together. Now remember, when they first got together, she was a supermodel.
I'm about to say, I agree with that. She not, you know what I mean? She not as high, you know, she's an age some. She ain't on a couple of magazines like she used to be. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, how about the big contract Tom Brady has from Fox to be a sports guy? They gave him 300 some million.
Yeah,
but he can't get some of that.
No, because they already divorced.
Right.
Yeah. They already divorced.
And hold up. And let's think about this. That's the reason he didn't sign that contract when he first retired.
When he first retired. Gotcha.
Right. Because remember, Fox was wanting him soon as he got out of sports.
Soon as he took the helmet off, they wanted to sign him.
And he told them no.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because he was still married.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, man, let me say this too. Head coach Eric Spoelstra, who coached for the Miami Heat, he married a cheerleader, right? And then so they was going through a divorce, and they had some money on the table for him, and Pat Riley held that deal up until the divorce was final, so Ursula wouldn't have to split that money with his wife.
Exactly. Exactly.
I remember that.
And let's be honest. Let's tell the truth about it. Us as black athletes don't understand that part of the game. We as black athletes see the IG models and like, oh shit, she hot. Let me go holler at her. Not understanding the long-term game that she's planning. Yeah. Because for every athlete that we're talking about hiding their money, there's 10 to 12 athletes getting taken for their money. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We can go all day talking about how athletes got involved, had a baby with an IG model, and now the IG model is on the come up.
Yeah. What's the name? She getting what's the name? Got a gang of them. Tyreek Hill.
Look at Zion.
Tyreek Hill got a gang of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's because the financial part of what football and professional sports brings. We're looking at, oh shit, we just got paid, let's do this, instead of looking at the shit, oh shit, we got paid, how can we save this?
Right.
Right. How can we keep it? Yeah.
Right. And being married and having kids by let's say it, sucky crappy ass women is part of being a sports figure.
So you
gotta protect it.
Do you guys think it's a certain acronym that comes with individuals? Like some people have a business acronym, some have an acronym for art and writing and different things like that.
Now, you
guys think that?
I think it's a factor of who we put around us when we go make that money. And that's what I think it is. And that's say 80% of us black athletes, when we get that money, the first thing we do is put our boys and our families on.
And people who don't know about money.
Right. Instead of
exactly. I don't think every black athlete is in that category.
No, I'm not saying every black athlete. What I'm saying is we put more emphasis on our family getting into business than us choosing the right business financial person to handle our money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the first thing we do is I go talk to mom. Now I got this big contract. Why are you talking to mom when your whole life mom's been struggling with money? You know what I'm saying? Instead of going to like, okay, I just got this contract. Let me go to a financial person that knows how to make money and keep money so I can keep my family good. You know what I'm saying? So they can eat off the aspects of what I'm making.
Well, they say the best thing to do is for you yourself to learn about money, right? That's just like the way you learn. The best way you learned how to get to the NFL, or you learned how to play professional basketball or football, you have to learn about money too. Because if you put your money in the hands of a financial advisor, then you are a slave to their knowledge. You know
what I mean? What I'm about to say. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
Right.
You ain't got $20 million. He got $20 million.
Right. But let me ask you a question though. Even if you go check out and you study finances, when was the last time you, as a black man, and that's what I'm talking about because that's who I am, I have never touched $20 million.
No.
Okay. So I wouldn't know how, even with my financial knowledge, I wouldn't know how to manage 20 million because I never had 20 million. Now, if you ask me how to manage $1,000, I'll tell you how to manage $1,000.
Well,
I'll tell you how to manage 100,000.
That's what I'm getting ready to tell you. If you can't manage $100, then you know damn well you can't manage 100 million, right? So
exactly.
You got to start somewhere. Right. I'm saying if you can't make a layup, you don't have no business shooting jumpers, right? And it's the same concept.
But you got
that jumper could feel good to you.
But the problem is you're going to make the money because you're not going to turn down the money. You're not going to turn down the money.
Right.
And let's go with it. If you look at millionaires, and the one thing millionaires say that every millionaire and every rich person has in common, they always put people in their surroundings that know more than they do. And the reason that is because you will never know everything.
That's true.
Well, then it goes back, but then it goes back to what Mike said. in terms of having to trying to learn yourself because you become a slave to the people that's around you. And then let's never forsake temptation and human temptation. And when you talk about a lot of money, even the greatest person could get tempted to deceive you, steal from you, and take advantage of you. So I think the most important thing you could ever do is try to learn for yourself, like Mike was saying.
Yeah, you don't
know
make
what I'm
no
saying?
choice.
Right, you could definitely learn for yourself. But let's put Mike, because you brought Mike up. Let's put Mike in prime example. Mike sucked ass as a GM.
No, I was
He
talking about Mike
sucked
Stevenson.
ass. Oh, well, I'm talking about Michael Jordan.
Oh,
My
hey,
bad.
yeah,
I thought you talking about Jordan.
We talking about finances, man. I'm talking about Mike Stevenson.
But let's talk about Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is one of the biggest money earners in basketball, even though he doesn't play basketball no more. And two of the main reasons he's like that, one, because of his mother. His mother made that Nike deal. He didn't make it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that laid a foundation of how he was to come up in the business aspect of the world. Now, when you come to Mike had the greatest jump shot, but he sucked ass as a GM.
Mike's mother was a banker, though, wasn't she? Didn't she work for a bank?
Yeah,
Mike's
something like that. It was something like that.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say.
She had some financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? She had some financial literacy. Yeah.
And she knew that, and she was in his corner.
Right.
Mike has the greatest deal for any Nike, any tennis shoes, sports apparel in the world. And he signed that deal, 40 years ago, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
And it's still not a deal on the table that can beat that.
By far.
Yes. And that's all because of the people that was around him, because he wouldn't have made that deal. He wanted to go to Converse.
He carrying at least 50% of that Nike brand. That Jordan brand is carrying 50% of it. I believe.
Nike.
He's carrying at least 50% of it.
It's a huge percentage.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I own is Jordans. I don't own them other Nike. Well, I got some Air Forces, But
in fairness to the young black athletes that's out there blowing their money and not being financial savvy, I will say on behalf of myself, when I was a young man, going back to my 20s, and I came into that kind of money, I had some level of education and in terms of finances and stuff, but I was a kid that couldn't resist impulse and I couldn't resist temptation. So even with knowing, I can't say that I would have did the right thing either. So some of that is just purely, you get a chance to do the things you've never done before. Temptation is a motherfucker, and
go places you've never been before,
and stuff like that. Yeah,
and meet people that you would have never met if you were just an average dude.
Yeah, so I mean, what's up, my man? So I'm just in fairness to them, like, it's
a skill. Managing money, learning how to like how to earn money. It's a skill. You know what I mean? Like it that's why I said. Now they have the earning part down because they bring a skill set to the table that that most average Americans don't have. But when it comes to that skill set of learning how to manage that money and then learning how to multiply that money outside of the skill set that they already bring to the table, that's where people step in and take advantage of it.
And then you have a thing where a lot of people like to talk about all the time called discipline. Right? Discipline plays a major part. And that's all I was saying. As a kid, I don't know if I would have been able to resist temptation. Let me it takes a lot of discipline,
right? Let me say something about discipline. Discipline, it play a small part because if you have, if you have $1 million, you can have all the discipline in the world. If you don't know how to make that money grow, you can let that money sit there, but even if you let money sit, it's going to dissipate. Money has a way of dissipating, whether you spend a lot of it or you spend a little bit of it. The thing about money is you have to have a skill set to make money grow. It don't, discipline, discipline come into effect when you want to say something like you want to stay focused. That's where discipline come in. But if you don't have that skill set of how to make money grow, even if you put money in the bank You know, what I mean,
No,
like
not the
after a
bank,
while, they
but
get you with the charges and stuff like that. So
yeah, but you can put your money in a fund that will yield good interest and just have it sit and have the discipline not to use it and earn money off that money.
listen, I saw an article.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I heard an interview with Alonzo Mourning. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he said this, and this is what resonated with me. He said you can make $100 million in your whole career,
mhm.
and if you spend the $100 million like you have $100 million, you will be broke in 2 years. Because when you do that, you're going to get a $10 million house that costs $1 million to keep up every year. When your career is over, it ends. Okay, that's why you see a lot of these retired athletes doing sports broadcasting and stuff like that. Because when that last check comes in, that last check ends. Okay. Your name not Albert Bell, where you're still getting paid by the Orioles 15 years later. Okay. That's not going over most athletes.
That's right.
So you got to understand, what your end game is. And that's, as black athletes, we don't understand a lot about the end game. That's what Tom Brady is doing, going back to the initial discussion. Tom Brady and his mother understood what the end game would be. The end game, if you get married, the end game of that marriage, if it doesn't last, she gonna take half of your shit. How do we stop that? The end game is, if you don't make this big contract, what are we going to do with the money that you already made? How do you survive off of that?
I could see aspects of Tom Brady. I could see aspects of Tom Brady being conducive to him investing money wisely, being disciplined, all these things we talking about, him protecting his fortune and stuff. I can see aspects of that in his work ethic in football and stuff like that. He's a very disciplined person. He wasn't doing what most did. You know, he dedicated himself to his craft, stuff like that. To me, that's something that's innate inside you, and that translates in everything you're doing. It's not just because you're doing football. That's a thing inside of you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
he definitely had that chip on his shoulder, getting drafted the 6th round,
199th
pick, things like that. So he always felt though he had something to prove. Even after he won the Super Bowls, you know, he still came in like, I gotta prove myself. He still operated like that.
And he applied certain principles to his life. You know what I mean? So, and that's gonna be in every area of his life. You know,
and you know, like I said, I think that the as a whole, let me go back to the black athlete part, we are now starting to realize the financial issues that rich athletes go through, and people like Jay-Z and his financial groups, and there's a lot of other financial groups that's starting to pop up now that are starting to help the black athletes to understand and how to manage their money the proper way.
Is Jay-Z still an agent? Is he still an agent?
No, Jay-Z's not.
Rock Nation.
He just owns it. Yeah, he doesn't. He's never been an agent. He's only owned an agent.
He owns Rock Nation. And it's agents that work within that organization.
Exactly. And that's the good part. The NBA is even going forward with the NFL and teaching all their athletes now, as soon as they come in, the financial responsibility that goes with making $1 million a year. Because let's not we're really talking about those athletes that only last 2 to 3 years in the NFL, maybe 4 years in the NBA.
The NFL always had that rookie symposium where they talked about finances, but I think that was only maybe like a 2 or 3 day thing type. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta take it past that.
I will say some agents, I just know one personally, they get the people they represent, they take and they hook them up with financial investments, and they do things to secure their future for the young athlete. Some agents do that.
That's a good point. That's what the dude did for Allen Iverson with Reebok. Remember, he got that where Iverson don't even start getting his money till he turned 50. He don't even start getting it till he turned 50 years old. That's a good point.
And let's not forget the financial advisor for Stephon Marbury. They told him, forget the American market, you go over to Japan and you could be really big. And where Stephon Marbury now over in Japan is like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he big
Man, he
over
got
there.
statues and everything built over there, man.
Yeah, he do.
He
Yeah,
got
he
statues
do.
and everything. Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Stephon, he really did good in that overseas market.
He sure
And,
did.
LeBron is doing good in that market too in Japan
Right.
over there.
Right. Yeah, and you know Nike got a pathway over there because you know that's where their products are made. So you know they already got some headway over there. So, you know,
China.
exactly. So,
China.
him being the biggest star for Nike, you know, he plugged in already.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's good. Yeah, to know about money. But y'all want to talk about some football, or y'all ready to wrap this thing up, Jack?
It's your show, Mike.
Hey, Clayton, I know you saw your man throw a behind the back pass the other day doing against Miami. I say I know my man Clayton will go crazy. Patrick Mahomes, you go behind.
I did not. I ain't been watching no preseason. I did not. No.
As soon as I saw it, I said, "Boy, I know my man Clayton." Boy,
now you gonna have me YouTube.
Right. Yeah, go check out the highlights.
Hold on. You ain't got YouTube.
How long ago?
Go to Sports Center.
How long
was like 7-8 yards?
Almost like a screen pass, almost like you know what I'm saying.
You know they've been trying to get him to do it in the game for a while. He kept telling them it's coming. I just don't know when. Yeah. That's crazy.
And then he said,
hold on. It was an accident though.
Wrong route.
Right. It was an accident.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't designed. It wasn't designed. It was an accident.
Right.
Okay. See, I like his instincts.
Yeah.
I know that's the guy.
That's another guy. Well, I said, I don't have a favorite. I'm just saying, I think this kid is phenomenal. You know, playing that position. That's all. Yeah, I don't have a horse in the race, believe it or not. Tom.
He can play.
He can play.
I give him that. Yeah, he can play.
I agree. He definitely proved he can play.
You know what I'm saying? He can play the position.
Hey, Tom, how they look in your opinion though? Kansas City.
Man, you know what? They still say they're having questions at receiver. Even with the acquisition of they drafted the boy out of Texas, Worthy, drafted him, and they got Hollywood.
Well, Hollywood hurt.
He sure is. He
separated his shoulder.
Yeah. So they say, you know, they receiving core still might be the weakest link, you know what I'm saying, of the whole team, not just the offense, like the whole team.
Well, they won the Super Bowl, you know what I mean, with a weak receiving core, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I think they may be saying that because their receiving core is young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And young and inexperienced, but I think, you know, as they go along, that winning that Super Bowl, especially like they haven't gotten rid of any of those guys from last year, though, have they? Like as far as their receivers.
I think one of them.
One of them in trouble. One of them in trouble. Who's in trouble on that team, Tom? Yeah, somebody in trouble on Kansas City.
I ain't know.
Or is he a defensive back? What's the kid that's in trouble? Man, I know you know.
Dude, I don't keep up with Kansas City. No.
It's somebody in trouble, Tom. Yeah, so I don't know.
I ain't sure. I gotta check it out.
And I think he'll receive.
Hey man, what's going on with CeeDee Lamb and his new he making some demands or got some new demands or something for his pay that he want from the Cowboys?
Yeah, listen, it's like this. The Cowboys are going to sign CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb knows it. Cowboys can't afford not to sign him. The person we're not going to sign is Dak. Okay, if we sign Dak, that will be a 1, maybe 2 year deal.
Yeah,
because the Cowboys nucleus the price is too big. We got too many people that we got to sign for Dak not to take it to the promised land with all this talent.
You know what I'm saying? Guys that want to be the top paid in that position,
and we got 3 guys that will be the top paid in every position. Yeah. CeeDee Lamb will be the top paid wide receiver when it's all said and done. Michael Parsons will be the top paid linebacker when it's all said and done. So it's just the point of the Cowboys is we are, how can I say this? We killed ourselves. We should have signed these boys in year 3, year 2, when we knew they were stars.
They'd have been way cheaper.
Exactly. When we knew CeeDee Lamb was a star the minute he stepped on the field. He was a
That's
star.
Jerry Jones, though. He's supposed to be a whiz at business, man. He do this every time.
No, and see that's where but no, this is where we got it wrong. Jerry Jones has never been a whiz at business. He's always been a whiz at marketing.
Yes.
When it comes to let's talk about the Emmitt Smith contract. Emmitt Smith should have never left the Cowboys, but he left the Cowboys because we waited too long to sign him when we knew he was a star.
You talk about the end of his career?
Yes, when Emmitt Smith left the Cowboys, it was time. But
that's what I was thinking.
No, but we should have still signed Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith should have retired as a Cowboy.
Did they bring him back? Did they bring him back for a one-day contract and retire him that way?
I think they did. Yeah.
But the problem is Jerry. We always consider Jerry Jones a genius at the Cowboys in their financial situation. He has never been that way. We lost Alvin Harper, okay, to the same type of situation. We made him a star. We knew he was a star. We should have signed him.
But he wasn't a number one, though.
Right. We should have signed
the number one.
But we got to understand this. Alvin Harper wasn't the number one because Michael Irvin was the number one. But Alvin Harper was doing the shit that Michael Irvin would not do. And that was going across that middle.
Or couldn't do. No. Mike Irvin across the middle. Mike Irvin just couldn't go deep.
No, Michael Irvin was the deep.
He couldn't run that 9 route. Because, Alvin Harper had jets.
Alvin Harper should have signed as a Cowboy. He should have never went to Tampa Bay. Okay? Should have never went to Tampa Bay. We have the habit of doing that. Making stars and not signing them before when we should have. The Cowboys has made more stars for a lot of other teams than we made for our goddamn selves at Cap. Prime example is Zeke. Prime example, Zeke.
Zeke was only a star in Dallas.
Right. But the problem is, if Zeke wasn't that good, why we bring him back?
I think out of respect for what he did when he was at Dallas.
Yeah. Plus, I think Dallas ran him till the wheels came off. So he was declining at that point.
He was declining. He definitely was declining.
Hold on. But yet we bring him back, and now he's our number one.
Yeah, that was.
Is he our number one? I thought they was going to split carries back there.
No, Zeke is going to get that number one. He's number one.
Zeke on Dallas now?
If he's the running back, they in trouble.
He's on Dallas now?
Zeke is in Dallas now, yes. Dallas brought Zeke back.
Yeah, they brought him back.
That's what I'm trying to say.
If they make him the number one, if they make him the bell cow right now, that was done anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what I'm trying to say. Jerry Jones is a great marketer. He is a terrible GM.
I don't even know how much of a great marketer he is. I think when you own the Dallas Cowboys franchise, that's going to be the biggest market, and that's just going to be what it is,
Dallas Cowboys franchise is the biggest sports franchise in the world.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys, they said it last week, Dallas Cowboys is now worth $10 billion. More than any sports franchise in the world.
Yep.
And they haven't won shit in 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's because Jerry Jones is a marketing fucking genius.
See,
the Cowboys, listen, the Cowboys when was the last time the Cowboys won a playoff game?
So
every year.
Let me ask all y'all a question, right? Jerry Jones turning that team into because they say he bought it for like $170 million, right?
Yes.
Him turning that into a $10 billion franchise, right?
Yep.
Can you argue with how he do things? Can we as fans, we can say you're not doing this right and that right because the product on the field not winning and stuff. Dallas been having some good draft picks. We talk about CeeDee Lamb, we talk about Micah, we talk about Dak. They've been drafting good guys. You know what I'm saying? So he been solid with his draft picks and all. The team worth $10 billion. Can you actually say that how he's been doing things is wrong?
I'll give you one knock against him.
Tell me why.
I'll give you one knock against him. Now I'll give you great with all the acquisitions and everything beautiful.
Right.
The motherfucker don't need to be trying to make coaching decisions.
There it is.
And that's
Yeah.
the one.
Listen, as a Cowboy fan, I'm gonna tell you, no, Jerry Jones is the reason that the Cowboys are losing. Okay, as a Cowboy fan, I'm gonna tell you that from my heart, and the reason being is this to me: Jerry Jones think the Cowboys is him. Jerry Jones think he is the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Michael Parsons should have been, like I said, signed many moons ago. CeeDee Lamb should have been signed many moons ago. Why don't we sign these guys? Because Jerry Jones is looking at it as the factor of, well, they're good now, will they be better later? And with that type of concept, you won't win. And the NFL is all about winning at the end of the day.
But this is not new with Jerry.
Let me ask
Exactly.
But he won with Emmett doing that. Go ahead, I'm listening, Mike.
Where do you think like Jerry Jones would rank amongst his peers, like other GMs and other management, like across the league? Then
Jerry Jones is listen, as a GM, he sucks. As an owner, he's the greatest. Plain and
As a
simple.
GM, he been solid, man. Look at the draft picks they've been having, man. He ain't horrible as a GM.
You gotta give his brother some credit too. It's him and his brother doing the GMing.
His son
and his brother.
Let me say this. And I'm the biggest Cowboy fan in the world. It don't matter who you draft. If you don't win, you don't win.
Well, they don't win the big games. They've been in the playoffs. They didn't win 12-4. I'm just saying.
We have won two playoff games.
3 straight wins, 12 wins, man.
They winning.
They not
listen, no.
You know what I'm saying?
They winning.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, let me say this.
I wouldn't blame Jerry Jones. I would say Jerry Jones only be a coaching decision, but I'm gonna say a lot of that has been falling on the decisions made in those moments. And when those moments come, the one making those decisions is your quarterback.
Listen, it can't be. Because in the 30 since we won the Super Bowl, since the last time we won a Super Bowl, we have won a total of 2 playoff games. Should have been 3, but we got robbed by 1.
But
listen, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter how we play it. It's still at the end of the game. It is what it is. Kansas City has been killing right now because if they have the same opportunity that we have, Kansas City's been killing.
Hey Clay,
okay, why has Kansas City been killing? Because of what goes on with them.
Like man said, they haven't won for like the last 30 years, but Dak haven't been there the whole 30 years. You know what I mean? The one common denominator is that Jerry Jones.
That's true. He's
the only denominator.
And Mike, I said he shouldn't be making coaching decisions. I put that on there. But I also say the last 3 years, and since Dak been there, they've been gotten into situations, and it's been his decision that's been making them fall short. No. It's been Dak Prescott that's been making Dak Prescott fall short. Because if we look at some of them games, that's what I said. Dak's decision. Yeah, that's what he said. Dak's decision has been making the Cowboys fall short. Dak's decision. Right. So I agree with you.
But what I'm saying to you is the reason that the Cowboys is in the position they are in every single year. Every single year before the season starts, we're talking about how good the Cowboys are. And every single year, at the end of the season, we talk about how they fucked up. Okay. But the only common denominator.
Maybe the narrative should change around them, man. Maybe the whole narrative with the Cowboys should change.
But see, that's the problem. Jerry Jones, and this is what I'm talking about. Jerry Jones is a marketing genius because he sets the narrative that we talk about. He sets that.
Let me ask y'all this, like, do y'all think Jerry Jones, like the guy Tom says, Jerry Jones is second to Robert Kraft in New England, hands down? Y'all believe that?
Not even close. Robert Kraft hasn't done for the NFL and for his franchise what Jerry Jones has done. What? Jerry Jones runs them Cowboys.
I disagree with that.
Jerry Jones runs the Cowboys hand and tooth. Kraft wasn't running New England. It was It was the coach. He was running New England.
Right. So and that's one of the smartest things Kraft did is
Right.
not make football decisions. Put everything
Exactly.
in place and trust his administration.
But he didn't
Exactly.
let.
That's a
Belichick
great
trade
owner.
Tom, though. He didn't let
No, he
Belichick
wouldn't let
trade
him do
Tom
that.
Brady.
Right. He ain't want him to do that. That's
Yeah,
right.
he ain't
That's
let him
right.
trade Tom Brady.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Right. They ain't let him
But-
trade.
but hold on.
And to me, that's a great. And to me, that's a great owner.
That's
Go
right.
ahead. Go ahead.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Let's remember though, he didn't let Tom Brady go after Tom Brady became Tom Brady. Okay?
I don't know
Tom
what you
Brady
mean. What you mean?
Wait, explain that. What
I
you mean?
mean that if he wanted to drop Tom Brady after Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, it wouldn't have been the same conversation after he won his fourth Super Bowl. Okay, so let's get that straight.
I don't think he lets. I
Tom
don't think he
Brady
lets.
performance.
I don't think he
did that
lets
for
Tom Brady go. Period. Yeah. Huh?
Right.
And
Yeah.
listen, they drafted Tom Brady in the 6th round.
Yep.
Tom Brady didn't get his start until his 3rd year.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, he wasn't on the bench for 3 years.
No, he wasn't on the bench for 3 years. He came.
I said he got his start in the 3rd year.
He came in as a rookie when Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
That wasn't the rookie year.
No,
That wasn't the rookie
he
year.
Wasn't his rookie year?
that was not his rookie year.
I think that was the second year. I think that was the second year.
That was year 2.
Right,
Yeah,
his
yeah,
first
it was that
full
year.
start was Tom Brady's first full start was his 3rd year. Was his first full
That's
start.
when he started the season. His 3rd year. Right.
His 3rd year.
Right.
But he
And what
played
I'm
his
saying to
second
you-
year. He played when Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Right.
And they won the Super Bowl. Go ahead.
No, they didn't win the Super Bowl his 2nd year.
When he took over for Drew Bledsoe, they won the Super Bowl because Drew Bledsoe got healthy. And Bill Belichick didn't go back to him.
I don't think they won the Super Bowl that year.
They didn't win the Super Bowl that year.
They beat the St. Louis Rams. Yes, they did.
I think Tom Brady didn't win his Super Bowl until year 6.
Tom
Brady didn't win the Super Bowl in his 2nd year. I mean, his 3rd year.
I know.
Oh, look it up. Tom Brady did not win the Super Bowl in his 2nd year.
Look it up, Mike.
Yeah.
Look it up, Mike.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look
I
that
don't
up.
think
Can you
Tom
look
Brady
it up,
won the
Mike?
Super Bowl his 2nd year.
I'm telling you, Drew Brees got hurt. Tom Brady took over. Drew Brees got healthy. Belichick did not go back to him. They won it all that year.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
They
But
beat
he
the
didn't win the
Rams. It
Super
was
Bowl.
2001. Yes, they did. They beat the Rams with a field goal. Yes, they did.
No.
We're talking about what year he was in. We're not talking about.
Yeah,
we're
and
talking
hold
about
up.
what year he was in.
You talking about they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl? Which Rams you talking about? Not the greatest show on turf. You're not talking about those Rams, are you?
Yeah, that was what 99.
Yeah, 99 to 2003.
So Tom Brady first Super Bowl was it 99 or 2000?
No, I thought Tom Brady's first Super Bowl was like 2004, maybe.
They said
Okay.
2002 right here.
2002.
First Super Bowl win was in 2002.
And what year did he get drafted? He must have got drafted in 98 or 99. Then.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Tom Brady Super Bowl.
Yeah. But the thing about that with Kraft stepped in. I think later on in Belichick's career, he was making some foolish moves, man. And where I thought maybe Robert Kraft should have stepped in, man, and you know what I'm saying? Because some of them drafts, he was, trading out of the first round to get extra picks, and them picks turned out to be terrible.
yeah, but he went to the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl.
No,
He
I'm talking
won
about
them.
later. I'm
That's
talking
because he
about
had
later.
an elite quarterback, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
let me tell you this. I'm gonna tell you that regardless of what we think of him, when they go rename that Lombardi Trophy, it's going to be the Belichick Trophy. Regardless of how we feel of it.
names gonna be on,
Right.
or at least both their
It's
names
going to be
on.
Belichick.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we think of, a Belichick name's going to go on that trophy.
Yeah. Why you think
Why?
he ain't got a
Because-
job since we on Belichick, right? Why you think he ain't get a job this season?
Because to me, bringing Belichick in will draw too much attention to your franchise. If you bring
That's bad.
Belichick in, huh?
I say that's
Yeah,
bad.
if you got a terrible franchise, hell yeah.
No. Shit, if I was Philly could have got him. If I was Philly, I would have got him.
I'm not saying that Philly, I'm not saying that wouldn't be a good place for him.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would have not taken that job or why people not offering it to him.
Right.
But the only thing, if I'm a franchise owner and I know I'm not at that level with Belichick, because I don't see Belichick coaching any longer than 2 years.
Yeah, I was about like 3.
So
I was around
yeah,
like
so
3.
yeah, so if I don't see my franchise being
Fellas,
that Super Bowl contender, then I'm not picking up Belichick.
Yeah.
real quick, Brady got drafted 2000,
Okay.
and in 2001 they beat the Rams.
They beat
Facts.
the
You
Rams
sure?
in 2001.
2001. Yes.
I thought Mike said it was 2002.
I thought I just seen
Yeah.
202.
Maybe it was a
2000.
2001, 2002 season.
2001, 2002 season.
Yeah. Could have been that. Damn.
Yes.
Yeah, I ain't know that. I ain't know that.
Yeah.
So,
But
I'm
anyway,
saying,
I ain't mean to interrupt that. Y'all was going at it. Go
No,
back
you're
to that.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask y'all real quick though. So all right, as far as the Cowboys, right? Like which one of the quarterbacks had a better career? Was it Dak Prescott? That's what Tom want to know. Prescott or Tony Romo?
Prescott.
Dak over Romo. Yeah, Dak over Romo.
Yeah.
Romo
I mean,
might have been.
If you go statistic wise, if you do statistic wise, Dak Prescott is the number one quarterback in Dallas.
Yeah.
He's going for more yards than any quarterback in Dallas.
And
People don't understand, man. Dak was second MVP last year, man.
Dak throws for 1 billion yards. We're not saying that he don't throw the ball. What I'm saying is he don't come to the playoffs. That's what I'm saying.
So that Dak is the reason they can't get over the hump.
Right.
I believe so.
I believe it is too.
I don't
believe so.
You don't. I don't even, man.
I don't think Dak is the reason why they don't win. I wouldn't go that far. He could do more, but I don't think you could bring another player in there and they automatically shoot, you know what I'm saying, to the Super Bowl if you replace them with somebody that you might think that's on the same level. I think there's other stuff going on with Dallas, man, except just the quarterback position, man. Jerry, really, I mean, but I think Jerry having a press conference after every game, man, he's the only owner probably in professional sports that does that, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? He got an interview after every game, win, lose, or draw. He got an interview. He's always out in front talking about what needs to be done, who we should be playing, who we should be paying, things like that. I think he'd never do it. But if he took a step back and when he had dominant coaches, they clashed. When he had Jimmy Johnson, when he had Parcells in there, they clashed. They bumped heads. These two no nonsense guys, man. Let me run my shit.
Let me run my organization.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And Jerry, like, well, no, this is my team, so you had to go. There's no reason. What was the coach, man, that was there all that time that just left? Man, what's his name?
You talking about he was a sought after coordinator, and then he became the coach.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I know
you're hold that position that long, man.
What was his name, man? I know you're talking about.
I can't think of his name.
Garrett.
Jason Garrett.
Yeah. There's no way he should have been in that position, but because he let Jerry do his thing and he didn't push back against certain things, he was able to stay in that position.
Mike McCarthy shouldn't be in that position. Plain and simple. We should have got rid of Mike McCarthy.
But he winning though, man. He winning.
Listen. Listen. There's a difference between winning and Super Bowl.
Do you think the expectations too high?
No, because the Cowboys put the expectations on themselves. Cowboys do that. You can't sit there and say we the best team in football and don't prove it.
If
you know what I'm saying? They now if they would shut up like teams like Pittsburgh, you never see teams like Pittsburgh saying, "Oh, we the best shit." Never. Teams like the Ravens, you don't hear them going out and say, "Well, we the best team." The only team you hear doing that shit is the fucking Cowboys.
Yeah, that's why.
That's the only team.
That's why I said the difference is the owners. So you got Kraft. And then you got Jerry Jones. Kraft is smart enough to let the football people do football things.
Right.
And then Jerry Jones, you know.
Right.
But if you talking about, and you're right, but if you're talking about an individual that changes how we look at football, it has to be Jerry Jones. Has to be.
He ain't changing the way I'm looking at football.
I mean, let's look at the things that he's been doing right now. Do you know that the Raider Stadium and the stadium in LA would not have gotten built if it was for Jerry Jones.
I can believe that. I can believe
Okay.
that. I can believe that. I
Let's
don't
talk
know, but
about
I can
how
believe.
the Cowboys has not won a Super Bowl in 30 years, but every point at this time of the year, we're always talking about the Cowboys. How does
Well,
that happen?
that's that mystique. That's that New York Yankee thing.
Exactly.
That's that LA
How-
Lakers thing.
right.
That's that thing.
That's that marketing
How
thing.
do you take
Yeah,
listen?
that's
How
that
do you
thing.
take a
Yeah.
franchise? How do you take a franchise that's only subsidized in America? Now they don't play football anywhere else in the world like we play football, except for America, and have that team the number one franchise in the world. How do you do that?
And I gotta say that's tough to do because soccer is big, and you know
Right.
what I mean?
The soccer's played
Right.
around the world.
Right.
Everybody around the world plays soccer.
Yeah.
But soccer is a great sport and it's popular sport and the number one sport in the world because it's not
Exactly.
individualized per teams. It's not like that. It's such a country sport. Like
Right,
each
but
team represent a country and stuff. So, but the
Right.
NFL is different, man. It's like
NFL is
Dallas.
region. NFL is the
Yeah.
only sport that's
Yeah, it's
region.
different.
You got
Yeah, it's
international
different.
basketball. You got
Yeah.
international baseball.
Yeah.
You got even international hockey. Football is the only sport that is regionalized,
Just
but
in
yet the
North America,
Cowboys,
that's it.
right?
So
But
when
the
you keep the
Cowboys are the
publicity
number-
cycle, but when you keep the publicity cycle, you keep all this stuff and all this media narrative surrounding this team, it creates a popularity too.
right, and that's what I'm
part of
trying to
it,
say.
too. You ain't
All
got
that
that
is
in
created,
soccer.
right? But
You know
all
what
that
I'm
is
saying?
created, right? All that's created
Yeah.
from Jerry Jones.
I think Dallas had that
All that.
cachet though. I think they
Dallas-
had that
listen.
cachet since the 70s.
Right, they've always been an American team, always.
Right, that's what I'm
But
saying. That's when
everybody
they got that
knows,
moment.
everybody knows the Yankees were the highest franchise in sports.
They were.
Okay, and for the
They were.
Cowboys to surpass the Yankees is a big thing
Well,
because baseball is international.
Let me ask you this then. Let me ask y'all this. Dallas being the highest value franchise in football, but does the success of the NFL, because the NFL has become the highest money maker sport in this country, does that propel Dallas to be the highest franchise compared to all other brands because it's connected to the NFL?
Well, yeah, that's the
You
technically
understand
no.
what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
I
is
see
some
what
of
you're
that
saying.
because of the NFL's growth?
But
Yeah,
let's
you
talk
gonna have
about
that residual. You're gonna have that residual for for a team like Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans all across the country, things like that. So yeah, it's going to resonate that way. You know what I'm saying? Because the NFL, they became global, even though they still.
Even though they're not a global.
American sport, but they became
right.
global, man. And them TV deals that the NFL just signed and stuff, man.
Right.
But let me say
Them
this
TV
though.
deals.
Let me say this though. Soccer though, and if you look at it pound for pound, soccer is still number one. Because
number one
soccer
Number one
can
sport.
soccer fills 100,000 seat stadiums.
Yeah.
Yes.
Football doesn't do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
70,000, 80
Exactly.
maybe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Football has turned our experience into non-sports like entertainment as well.
Right.
When you
Right.
have
You
a
gotta
bar,
be a sports fan to go and enjoy a game now because they got so much going on. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
football has turned everything backwards for us. You used to be able to go to football and spend $100 and get a good quality entertainment. Now it's $300 for a damn ticket, one ticket.
But they say it's something about a live soccer event that is
like no
nothing
other.
like it.
Right, like no
Now,
other.
but to watch it on television, it's
don't
not
get
the
it.
same.
Yeah,
Right.
you don't get it.
But
Yeah.
for football is such an addictive thing to watch.
Yeah.
See,
And a lot of what's
because
making it
soccer
so
is not really
valuable is
part of our
media.
culture, though.
Yeah.
I think that's because when I watch other people who come from like those areas where soccer is a big part of their culture, like I could be bored. You know what I mean? We will be bored watching soccer, and even if they don't score a goal, they appreciate the nuances of the game, like a pass or somebody get checked or something like that. to me, that same
What?
thing with hockey. You know what I mean? Like I
Okay.
can't really watch hockey like that because it's not
Right.
really a part of our culture.
All right. I'll
Right.
give you that. Now explain this though. Why come when the Super Bowl gets played all around the world, everybody's tuned in and it becomes the number one thing watched for that whole year?
Listen,
Even people
and
around the
you're
world
right.
watch it.
You're right. But
It's
I'm gonna tell you
something about
something.
the element of football. It's almost like the Colosseum days in Rome and that whole,
It's like
you know what I
can't even
mean?
explain it. It's just a
You
draw.
can't explain it. It's a
But
thing. Yeah.
but look, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna challenge you on that because look at the numbers in the
Okay.
World Cup though. Look at them
Oh, the
advertising
World
TV
Cup. Oh,
numbers
yeah,
of the World Cup.
Yes. The World Cup.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's look at those
Yes.
advertising numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Yes.
show up for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They put it out, and like you say, by us being like a worldwide sport, everybody
Yes.
tuning in for that. Everybody tuning in for that.
The football, the football is entertainment worldwide. Soccer is lived worldwide.
Yeah.
And there's a difference.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
They
That's
live
yeah.
that. That's
They
right.
live it.
live that.
They live it.
They live. If you go to a soccer, like Mike was saying, if you go to a soccer stadium during a regular soccer match, that whole
Yeah.
stadium is filled with crazy soccer
It's
fans.
an event.
Fanatic,
It's an
Right,
event.
it's an
They
event.
fanatic.
Crazy soccer
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah, they.
You know what I'm
fanatic.
saying?
Yeah.
And you talking 100,000. You ain't talking 70, 80. You talking 100.
Yeah, you talking
So-
about too. Yeah.
Football is marketing to the places they haven't been in yet, and they're doing a great marketing strategy to get there.
They
Okay,
having more and more games overseas now.
exactly. They're trying to get over there, but
Yeah,
just
well-
like what Mike was saying, how our
It's too
culture is not
hard.
really done with soccer. We haven't really did soccer, but in the last 20 years, soccer has blown up in America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To where we paying attention to the Olympics. We're paying attention to women's soccer. We're paying attention to men's soccer. Now, men's soccer is not that good. Women's soccer is better, but we're starting to pay attention now. Kids are starting to plan it because we're introducing it to the culture now.
And another.
But you go
part of
back
that
to where we lived at when the time we lived, shit, I couldn't tell you how to kick a soccer ball.
Well, and man, another part of reason why soccer is growing here is you got people coming from those countries to live here now too. Like you have
Exactly.
Hispanic people, you know what I mean? So and they're watching. Then you got people coming from like Jamaica and those Caribbean islands and stuff like that. So they watch the soccer too,
Right.
And so but in order to grow soccer like in all those other countries, you're gonna have to start with like you're gonna have to have like Pop Warner leagues over there, and you're gonna have to raise up a generation of football players because football is a kind of sport that you just can't pick that up. You got
And the thing about football is that a lot of people don't realize, unlike basketball and soccer, you need at least 3 people to play football. Soccer, you can go one-on-one. Basketball, you can go one-on-one. Some kids can play soccer by themselves because all you need is a ball.
in a wall
Right.
or a net or
So
something. Yeah,
so in those third world countries where you can't get pads, you can't get helmets, it's hard to get a football. It's hard to get that in that culture because everybody can't deal with what it takes to start to play that culture.
it's a you need an organization like I said, you need an organization that's going to be like sponsoring those leagues, those little Pop Warner leagues and stuff
And
like
that's
that. Because
and that's why the NFL is starting to sponsor a lot more kids flag football leagues.
Mhm.
Okay, because
And you
flag
know that's
football
gonna
is
be,
easier.
You know they're gonna put that in Olympics out in LA in 4 years. Flag football.
Yeah.
that's what's up.
And because
Yeah,
it's
they gonna put
easier,
that on.
because all they got to do is tear some rags off of them, put them in their shorts, and then you can play flag football.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
I
why
wanna see how
flag
that's
football
gonna
is
look.
coming about now.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, man. That was a excellent discussion. I appreciate y'all input, man. And so I don't know if we put that Jordan that Jordan debate to rest. I know people
Hey,
still
can-
want to
can-
debate it.
Can we
But,
save it for next basketball season when it comes up?
Yeah, that's probably as long as it's going to rest too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Into the next season.
Basketball season start back up.
But let me ask you a question. Let's think about this. When LeBron retire, who's the next person we're talking about?
Ant-Man. Aren't we talking about Ant-Man?
No,
I don't
that's what
know.
we talking
Are
about.
we talking?
No,
Are we
that's
talking
I'm just
about that,
saying.
man?
That's what we
Huh?
Hey,
talking about.
hey, for the fans that's looking at us now, put down in the chat who you think the next person is we're talking about after
Yeah.
LeBron James retire.
You can
Yeah,
add,
who
you know,
next in line?
you can add KD and Steph once all three of them retire. Like who you gonna be talking
Well,
about?
hey,
Yeah.
I consider KD and Steph all in the same era.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
once
they all
them
in the
go,
same era.
right? Who you gonna be
Who is
talking
that
about?
next superstar that we're talking about that's going to
Right.
be like, oh shit, he's the GOAT now?
From this generation that's
Well,
in
I
here
don't
now.
know if you're gonna have
Yep.
the GOAT thing though. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be a GOAT thing though. But
They
it'll
gonna
be
have to
somebody
see-
to be the
emerge.
face.
Somebody gonna have to emerge.
Right.
I don't know
That's
if
what
it's
I'm
in
saying.
this next generation though. I know a face gonna emerge, but that
Yeah.
GOAT thing,
Yeah.
But
you know, that's
hey,
something
it
different.
happens.
Yeah.
That's true.
In my
That's
lifetime, it happened in every generation. You had Magic and Larry. You had Jordan.
You're right.
You had
You
Kobe.
make a
You
point.
had LeBron.
You make a point.
Somebody
You know what I'm
gonna
saying?
jump.
To pass that mantle to
Make a point.
baton.
Exactly.
But you know
And
what?
and is LeBron doing what he needs to do to make sure that the NBA has that next mantle pass?
But you
He's
know
trying
what?
to play 28
It
minutes
might
a
not
game.
be. It might not be an American player. It might be. They might try to give it to Joker or Giannis or Luca. They might
Yep.
They
push
might.
them. You know what I'm saying? They might push them.
So
Mhm.
so on that topic, then, do you think the NBA is going to have to faction one, or do you think somebody is going to merge as one?
I
The
think the
NBA
NBA gonna have to push one. I think the NBA.
Okay.
They already
I think
doing it
the
now. If you ask me,
Yeah, I
already
think
doing
they
it with
faction.
Joker, the three
They always
MVPs.
do it.
They
Yeah.
doing it with Luca. You know what I'm saying? They already
Right.
doing
Yeah.
it.
Well,
It's a
let me ask you this,
combination
though,
of
Tom.
both things. You emerge, but then the NBA makes it happen.
That's right.
So
But
that they
hey,
always
Tom,
do
Well,
that.
let me ask you
that's
this.
true.
Let me ask you this then, Tom. So, like, if they already pushing like the Joker or Luca, right? If those guys are not like legitimately, the GOAT. The thing is, like, people gonna push back though, don't you think? Like as far as like other players.
That don't mean we gotta
Yeah.
buy. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean we
Right,
gotta buy
right.
it just because they
Right.
pushing it out there. But I think, especially if y'all remember the finals, they was pushing Luca. He was the best player on both teams. You know what I'm saying? And he was exposed, if you ask me.
He got exposed. He got exposed. He got
dropped a little
exposed.
bit, man. You know what I mean? He was exposed.
Yeah, he got exposed.
Yeah,
Luka
and then
refused to play
with
any
Joker,
defense. What he like? He on strike on one half of that court.
right,
He just
right,
refused
right.
to play any defense.
And then with Joker and them losing to Minnesota, that was an upset. You know what I'm saying? And him not being able to get them over the hump, get them past Minnesota. So, you know, it's gonna be interesting going forward though, how that plays out. You know, like you say, like man said, beginning of the season, like how everything, you know what I mean, look and pan out.
And I don't even see nobody coming from the college ranks, albeit I don't really watch college basketball like that. So I don't even see nothing coming from the college ranks, really. That's captivating the
right.
imagination.
And to your point, I didn't even watch the NBA draft this year
Yeah.
Right.
because I really wasn't interested in nobody that was coming
I
out.
was about to say, man, I wouldn't have known nobody who was getting drafted anyway.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
and that's what I'm saying. So the NBA, when they shoot themselves in the foot, right? Because we don't get to follow those guys from like you build up a momentum, or you build up a following from college, like we used to do. Like we knew everybody on, and especially if you played in the ACC or if you played in the Big East, we knew every player on every team, and you know what I mean when we was coming up. Now we, you know what I mean. Now we don't know any of these guys. You got teams like Maryland; they playing all the way over, and some other. I haven't watched a Maryland game.
Be a
I don't know
realignment.
the guy. You know what I mean? We right here in Baltimore. We don't even watch the Maryland Terps.
Yep.
So,
But let me say this.
No excitement around.
Let me say this. To me, the way the NBA is going is the same way they went in the 70s, and they better watch it. Because if they think their fan base is loyal because of the situation that they put in the past, they need to pay attention to what happened to the NBA in the 70s when they didn't have those superstars to market and how people lost interest. Because you got to remember, Magic and Bird had to bring the NBA back.
The finals
You
used
know
to
what
be
I'm saying?
but they got enough.
the
They have
finals used
enough.
to be on tape delay. Yeah.
that's
But
right.
they have some young talent and some competition that can carry them until that next thing emerge.
Right,
Because
but
you're
my
looking
point
at
is,
Ja Morant, you're looking like Ant-Man, you're looking at all these young guys
But
You're
my
looking at
question
that for
is
the next 10, 15 years.
right. But
Yeah.
my question
I
is, do
agree
they
with that.
resonate? Do
I
they
agree with that.
resonate? Do they resonate to the average fan though? We know those
Yeah.
guys because we are basketball fans. But like
Yeah.
Clayton Clark is resonant to fans that typically don't watch the NBA. I mean, WNBA. How she's getting those fans in? Does the NBA have that next superstar other once LeBron, Steph, and KD leave that can resonate to
I,
those fans?
And
Is what my
see,
question is.
I think
that's my
Ant-Man
point.
brought eyes. I think Ant-Man brought eyes back to. So guys that left, I think he's brought them back to the game.
I can agree with
Okay.
that. I can agree with that.
And I think that's when the NBA plays a part in pushing guys.
And
That's
push
when
them.
that's how they gonna play a part in pushing guys.
Yep.
Like this
Yep.
gonna be the next one. This is the next one.
Yep.
This is
But
the,
like man
the next
said,
rivalry or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like man said, like as far as like when you those like the WNBA, like in that college game, like that's how that girl Caitlin built her momentum. You know what I mean? It started in college, and then people wanted to see what you know what I mean. What's all the hubbub and
All the
stuff?
hype about.
That's the whole that's like a snowball effect.
Right.
And we used to have that in college football. We only I mean,
Yes.
college basketball. We only had
Yes.
that no more.
We don't have it no more, but I think something will come because even Magic and Bird, they started in college.
Right.
Right.
Michael Jordan started in college. Like all these things started in college.
So what,
You know,
what
so
they gonna
I
have to
think
do in
something will
college
emerge.
basketball though to get that excitement back though. What they gonna have to do then?
And then
It's
I think
just
you're gonna
something-
have to start, with them guys with that one and done rule, they not
Right.
even gonna be in school like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
true,
what-
too.
The gain of
Absolutely.
That's true, too.
You know,
That's
Yeah.
true
That
too.
changed the game. That
Yeah.
changed college basketball right there.
Yeah.
Just like it's changing
Well,
college football. That
well,
one and done thing, you can't build a team with one and done.
But
It's
right,
just
you
gonna
can't
happen.
build a team, but a superstar can emerge with one and done. And I think something will emerge and they have a fascinating season campaign in college. Something's gonna come to captivate. Something will. It always
yeah,
does.
he gonna be there in Arkansas. You know that's what's his name at now?
Who? Where,
You
who?
know he left Kentucky.
And
went
see,
to Arkansas.
and
He'll
see,
go back
and
there.
that's the thing.
I don't
That's the
know.
thing with me that the NCAA is killing with, because you got players like Zion, a one and done. They boosted him up. Oh, Zion is the thing. The Zion is the thing. He didn't win anything, but Zion is the thing. And let's throw him in the draft real quick. You know what I'm saying? That's what I
Yeah.
think that how do you build a superstar if you don't have time to build them?
That's why I say you need to probably like about 2 to 3 years, you know what I mean, to see if a kid is showing enough
you
legit in
think-
college.
Do y'all
How
think
many-
Zion left Duke too soon?
I think so.
Oh yeah,
Really?
absolutely.
Oh,
He
I
not-
don't. I just
only
think
did
he
he
had
leave
problems with his
choosing-
weight and stuff. I just think it was in.
And-
Go ahead.
and-
I'm listening.
and- right. I'm sorry, my bad.
I thought he was already, you know what I mean, done with
Yeah.
school.
It was not much he could do there.
No.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean, it's besides win.
Yeah.
You understand? Besides
When,
win.
right.
I thought him leaving wasn't like I ain't look at it like, no, he need another year in school. I never
Nah,
looked at it
he
like
didn't
that.
need
All right, well, let me ask y'all this. So you didn't see I'm not even considering his weight, but like what about the holes in his game? Like he's dominant on one hand, then on top of that, like his ball handling skills are kind of suspect. His game to me is limited. I mean,
It
I'm
is
not even
limited.
talking about the weight.
Yeah, but I
His game
think,
definitely need to get refined.
Right.
Definitely,
Right, right.
his game definitely got.
but college wasn't going to develop him in areas he was weak in.
You don't think so?
No.
No,
He was so dominant doing what he was doing.
he was
Hey,
dominating.
hold up. All he was doing
Yeah, he
was dunking.
was. He
All he was doing was
dominating.
dunking. He was dunking. That's all he was doing was dunking.
Dominating.
I just don't like saying dominant. You know what I mean?
I understand, but he was really dominant. Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't like saying that word, but
I
like we
feel
said, he
you,
was doing pretty much whatever he wanted without even
Yeah.
really necessarily getting better. So I don't
Listen,
think
yeah,
he
exactly.
another year with
Yeah.
And
Listen,
he
Zion-
his stock couldn't have went no higher. He went number one. You know what I mean? He couldn't have went no higher. You know
And
what I mean?
then in the NBA, when he's healthy, he be putting up numbers. He be putting it on
His
people.
numbers are there. His numbers
Yeah.
are there. You're right.
Yeah,
And I ain't a big
yes.
wrong thing. Not at
Listen,
all.
I gotta agree with Mike. It's just if he had stayed in college, his game would have been a lot more polished than it is now.
I think
We're
so.
talking how long? How Zion's been in the league? What, 5 years now? 4 years now?
Yeah, man, time then flew, man. It's something like
Right.
that. Like 4
And 3 of those years, he ain't even been in shape enough to play.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the discipline part is what you learn in college to me.
Yeah.
And I don't think he never had that ability to be disciplined. And then when you talk about his all-around game, let's be honest. Zion is a dunker. That's what Zion does.
Athleticism is what set him
Right.
apart. And look, all of us have seen dudes who from college who had outstanding athleticism, but like what happens when that athleticism leaves?
You sit on the bench.
That's when you need to know how to play basketball for real.
Right.
Right. And that's what happened. When Zion got fat, where did he go? Disappeared.
Yeah.
He had a decent year last year, though.
Oh, yeah.
Barring the injuries. Yeah.
You can say that about his whole career so far. You know, barring injuries, he didn't play well.
He played real well.
He played well.
Yeah. All pro level well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. Do we think Zion was even the best player on his team last year?
I did.
In New Orleans, I do.
I thought he was going to be
like
the best.
Ingram. I like Ingram, but Zion is that thing.
I like Ingram. Ingram is better than him. I think
And that's what I'm trying to say. And that's what exactly I'm trying to say. I don't think Zion was even the best player on his team last year. He was a contributor, but I don't think he was the best player on his team.
But I thought he would be, like going into the season and stuff. I thought he would be their best player.
Yeah.
I always thought he would be their best player if he was right. Like Clayton say, barring injury, stuff like that. I always thought he'd be the best player.
I hope Zion come into this season in shape then. You know what I mean? But he's still, even if he got to learn how to play the game of basketball. There's some holes in his game. There's some holes in his game.
It's definitely some holes in his game for sure. It definitely is.
Now I have seen dudes lose their athletic ability and still what's the dude we used to talk about this, McDyess, Antonio McDyess.
Oh yeah.
He was a freak of nature as far as athletics, right? And then when he hurt his knees, he still found ways to be effective.
Yeah, he was still effective.
Yeah, Vince Carter, he lost his jumping ability and he still was effective. You know what I mean? But see, that's what I'm saying. You gotta have time to learn how to play basketball and develop your game to get to that point. And so, like, if Zion was to get hurt right now, I don't know that he have those skill sets right now where he can continue his. Because remember when Larry Johnson got hurt, he was effective, but not as effective as you know what I mean, as he could have been. Once he hurt his back, he just had a whole different career.
Well, a lot of part of his game was his strength and power. And prowess. So you hurt your back, you lose a lot of that. A lot of it. You don't even want to bank no more.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I used to like Larry Johnson, especially at UNLV, boy. Wasn't nothing like watching them, boy. Yes.
So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all chiming in with me today.
Oh, man, we appreciate you.
Yeah, man, you know, man. So Mike, this how it's gonna be from now on. That's how we gonna do it.
Well, yeah, for a while until I work some other things out. I'm working on, I'm
just chill though.
Yes. For right now, I'm coming up with some more ideas about how to do the podcast and
man, just keep us in the loop. You know what I'm saying? Keep us in the loop.
No
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, next week I'm in the golf tournament, so I might hit y'all guys from the golf tournament.
Where you gonna be at? Pebble
that'd be dope.
Oh man, no. I'm gonna tell you guys. Let me give a shout out. Phi Beta Sigma is giving a golf tournament next week, and me and my crew are gonna play in that golf tournament and see if we can win something for us. So I'll go live from the golf tournament. Just let y'all know how I'm doing and everything.
You see Tiger out there, boy. Tell me, say what's up.
Yeah. What's your handicap, man? What's your handicap? Did I ask that before?
But let me tell you this, okay? And I'll be honest with you guys. I'm in a group called Brothers Against Good Golfing. Okay, I just want y'all to know that. All right.
Oh, that sounds like something.
Say less.
Okay, we are against good golfing. Okay.
Right.
All right. So that is just let you know what my handicap is. All right.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, on a par 4, if I get 6, I'm happy. I'll just let you know that now.
Okay. Say less.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, hopefully you brothers golf one day. You know, we need to get a lot more brothers into golfing because it's a fun game.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this: it's harder than any sport you have ever played.
Seriously?
Everybody says.
Yes.
Everybody says that. Everybody
It is
says that.
so hard. It's ridiculous. Than any
Yeah.
sport you have ever played. It's 10
Everybody
times
says that.
harder.
Yeah.
So
Harder than hitting the baseball.
yes, harder than baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
Golf,
hard.
You know what?
I thought golf was just going to be this easy thing that you go in and hit a ball and call it a day. Oh no.
Yeah.
When you hit the ball in the woods or you hit a house or something, no.
Yeah.
My bad.
No.
My bad. But
No,
man,
no,
I'm
sir.
gonna let y'all go, man. And
All right,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
yeah.
yeah, man.
Mike, I was
I'm
asleep.
great.
I was
I'm
asleep when you hit me, Mike. I waited for a while to hear from you,
Oh.
but that's why I hit you at 12:30, man. That's when I was just waking up, man.
Okay, yeah. I know
Yes,
if you
sir.
I know if you don't
Yeah.
hit me, at night,
Yeah, yeah.
you'll be good
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
I got
Not
you.
when they
Okay.
work.
All right, bro.
Okay.
I
All
see
All right,
y'all,
gentlemen, take it easy now.
All right.
All right, man.
All right.
Good show,
All right,
man.
man.
I gotta
All right,
charge
later.
my phone up too. All right.
Okay.
All right. Peace.
All right, man. And yeah, I just want to let people to know to go to Amazon
The book. Yeah.
and check out my man Clayton's book, Trauma, My Love Letter to the World. And yeah, definitely go to Amazon and order this book. But yeah, Clayton, yeah, we got some other things coming in. And with that being said, I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Time, we appreciate everything that all your contributions to the show today.
No, it's love. It's love.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for everything.
so yeah, just tune in next Saturday. I mean, next Sunday at 11 a.m. We'll be back next Sunday with the live show. Now, with that being said, we out. All right, Clayton.
All right, man. I'll talk. You
All
gotta
right.
send me your information too, Mike. I asked you to send me your cash. Just send me your cash app. All right.
All right,
That
that's
way
cool.
I
I
have.
can do that.
Okay.
All right.
Is it the same as this?
No, it's different.
All right. You just text it to me when you get a chance, and I'll have it. All right.
All right, I got you.
All right. All right. Peace
All right.
out.